of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a beautiful Monday in Nashville, Tennessee. Billy, if you will give me just a tad bit more ears. There we go. Beautiful. We welcome all of you in to what is going to be an action-packed Monday with a ton of football talk. As you can tell, we are back at the Ford Ice Center. We're actually in a conference room today that will change by Wednesday. Training camp is over with the Preds. Hard to believe their schedule, regular season, begins in 8 days. A week from tomorrow, they are getting after it. So, with all of that said, it's football season, and we begin every show during football season with Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update, brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen. Dial her up, 615-969-4350. Titans' finest hour, no question, of the 2023 season. Terry McCormick, Main Street Media, joining us. Terry, first of all, the obligatory, what's the injury situation coming out of that game?
Well, Vrabel didn't really say a whole lot about injuries. So it sounds like they came out of the game pretty clean. I know that Josh Wiley, who caught his first touchdown pass off the Derrick Henry Wildcat throw, left with an ankle injury and did not return. But I got to believe that part of that was a precaution because they were up 27-3. Maybe some good news coming on the injury front. Sounds like Kyle Phillips is close to returning from that knee injury. He's likely to be activated off of injured reserve this week and begin practicing with the team to see what he can do. And then, of course, they're getting Nicholas Petit-Ferrer back from suspension. And then Vrabel said that there's a good chance that Peter Skoronski will be back on the practice field this week. So things actually turning more positive on the injury front.
Yeah, now help me with this. Petit-Ferrer can't play. Is it for 6 games?
No, the league actually rescinded the last 2 of that games and reinstated him. He's good to go.
Oh, wow. So
this
that will be
Friday afternoon after our segment, George. The league reinstated him, and he is good to go.
Okay, well, that is excellent news. Terry, I'm one of these people, and I've talked about this from time to time on the air, and this will be a common theme today. I want to see a football team. If I've got a football team I'm rooting for, I want to see them, and this is my term, empty all of the barrels. And to me, what Vrabel did yesterday is the dictionary definition of empty all the barrels. He basically sent word to Cincinnati, by God, we're going to win this game.
Pretty much. I mean, they had everything clicking. Offensively, the pass game was working. The run game was working with Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears. And then over on the other side of the ball, the defense was able to take advantage of Joe Burrow's injured calf, knowing that he was going to have to stay in the pocket. And they just got home, forced him to get rid of the football fairly quickly because he knew there wasn't going to be a lot of 7-step drops out of the Bengals. And as part of that, when you don't have a lot of 5- and 7-step drops and the quarterback's getting rid of the ball quickly, you don't have a lot of those deep passes and explosive plays unless somebody misses a tackle. And the Titans were able to take advantage of that yesterday. The longest play they allowed, period, was a 17-yarder, 2 of those. So no explosive plays yesterday by this Bengals offense, which certainly is more than capable of that when things are clicking for them.
Terry, around the Cincinnati media, and you certainly were around some of them yesterday, is there much talk that Joe Burrow shouldn't even be out there?
I think there has to be some, but evidently there's a big drop off between Joe Burrow and whoever is their backup. I know they recently signed
Jake
AJ
Browning.
McCarron to the practice squad, and so that to me is indicative that the Bengals are looking for insurance. If it was my franchise quarterback, and I realize that they can ill afford to go 1-5, 1-6 if they set him down for 2 or 3 weeks and try to get him completely healthy. But long term, I would have to think of what's best for the franchise and what's best for Joe Burrow over what's best for this team in October of 2023 when you've got 13 games left.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And we're going to talk with Watson Brown about that in a few minutes. Terry, anything else on your end?
Well, that's it. I mean, the one thing that's going to be interesting, George, probably the most under of all the underdogs on the Titans roster currently, that's Mason Kinsey.
Yeah.
He's done a really good job with punt returns since filling in, averaging 12.5 yards per punt return. That's pretty decent. And the Titans are going to have a decision to make if they want to risk Kyle Phillips back there, or do they want to keep Mason Kinsey on that job since he's done so well?
The answer is B for now.
I would think so.
Until he shows some reason for it not to be, the answer is B.
Terry, real quick, any update on Traylon Burks?
No update yet. Vrabel said Friday when he ruled him out that it would be about a week or so. So it'll be something to monitor as we go through the week to see if he can get back on the field and do some things, because they could certainly use him as they head into division play up in Indianapolis on Sunday.
Terry, thank you as always. We'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same place.
Sounds good.
Terry McCormick, Main Street Media, his Daily Titans update brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that is absolutely possible. So dial her up, 615-969-4350. Kelly Holcomb is not with us today. His daughter is undergoing surgery, and she had a nasty injury. Played on Lipscomb University's women's basketball team, just hit a point awkwardly coming down. I think I heard Kelly say she came down on somebody else's leg and just tore all kinds of stuff. She's undergoing surgery today. That's the important thing. We're keeping her and the entire Holcomb family in our thoughts and prayers. An old hat joining us, not old as in old, but somebody that we have dealt with a lot. That would be Coach Watson Brown.
Coach.
Brought out of retirement today. How are you?
Good gracious, George. I feel in for Kelly and I feel bad for him. And the first thing you do is get me.
No,
gracious.
No, it was. This was not intentional. Okay.
It wasn't to call me old.
No, hold on a second. No, old hat means that you're used to this routine and you know exactly what we're doing.
Oh, that's a good way out of that one.
Yeah,
I like
it was.
that.
Yeah.
That had lawyering in it a little bit there. I'm telling you.
Lawyer up. That's what Mel
Lawyer
Tucker's.
up
That's
there.
what Mel Tucker's team is doing.
You better get him a bunch.
Yes, some high price ones. So
some high price ones.
Billy, you tried to say hello to Watson earlier, but I was too busy calling him an old dog.
Watson already catching strays for no reason.
Did you have a good weekend?
I did. A lot of football.
Did.
Watson, you watched a lot of football, I'm sure.
Oh, I watched a lot of football, yes. I did.
Yeah.
A lot of good games, a lot of bad games.
Yeah. Not much middle ground, was there?
Games. There wasn't a lot of middle ground this weekend. A lot of good games, and then, turn it to something else. Yep.
Your brother had an off week?
Yeah, he did. He's undefeated. The off week didn't beat him. And he comes back with Syracuse this week, who's very beatable at home. So I think he's got himself a chance for a run here.
Do they have? Well, when is their next huge game?
I don't really see anything till late in the year. To me, I mean,
Yeah.
you got Georgia Tech, who they've had trouble with, but I think they've lost to Tech 2 years in a row. But they really shouldn't. I mean, Tech loses to Bowling Green.
Yes, they will come up in duds.
I think it's really going to be late. They've got Miami at home, will be probably their next big one. And I think that might be a week or 2 weeks to 3 weeks. And then they finish the year, and this is where they finish the year at Clemson at NC State.
Ooh.
So that's their last 2 games. So that'll tell it. And that in the ACC this year, they don't have divisions. So it'll be I think it's the 2 top teams record wise will play in the championship game. So he's right in the middle of all that.
Oh, yeah. Love it. Love it. And he's got the best quarterback this side of Tom Brady.
This side of Caleb Williams, I'd say.
Yeah, and maybe then some.
Best quarterback, and maybe in front of him before it's all said and done. You don't know. I watched Caleb play Colorado the other day. He's really good. He is really good. He can do so many things well. He's got such great feet, such a great sense of time, and I mean he's playing. George, you go back and look at him late in his Oklahoma time and see him now. It's 2 different players.
It really is, isn't it? Scary.
Yeah, 2 total different players. Scary. It really is.
Watson, I don't.
But they're not very good on defense, George. Good gracious.
No.
I don't see them in this picture.
That'll get them before it's over.
It's going to get them, man. You can't keep playing defense like that.
Billy, I would assume Watson remembers we've had an update since the beginning of the show. Do you have one prepared?
I do.
Okay.
I hate starting it with some sad news, but former Pro Bowl tight end Russ Francis was killed in a plane crash up in New York yesterday. According to family members, he was 70 years old.
Great tight end. Man.
Yeah, he was taken by the Patriots in the first round back in 1975. He made 3 Pro Bowls, and just really tragic. He was 70 years old, so definitely praying for him and his family. Also, staying in the NFL, we always got a lot of NFL notes, injury notes, and things like that. Coach Matt Eberflus of the Bears said on the radio this morning that Bears wide receiver Chase Claypool will not be with the team ahead of its game in Washington this week. He's not going to be in the building this particular week on this short week. So the Bears, all of a sudden,
what the hell does that mean?
What do you mean?
I mean, what does that mean? He won't be in the building because it's a short week.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a short week. They want to wait till they get a longer week to get him back in.
Okay, whatever.
That don't make sense to me.
No,
really.
That's what.
I mean, are they disciplining? Are they trying to straighten him up? I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me.
In other words, who is he pissed off?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be something. It ain't an injury.
Yeah.
That can't be it.
That's what we don't know. We don't know who he's pissed off.
Right. That's moving right along.
I'd say it's somebody pretty high up, wouldn't you, George?
It's either a McCaskey or a head coach.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty high up.
Rolling on, Colts running back Jonathan Taylor will be activated off the PUP list and will be back to practice on Wednesday. So
he's pissed off the owner. Actually, the owner's pissed him off, but that's
neither here nor there.
Probably a two-way street.
Yeah, it probably is.
Also, the Colts looked better on Sunday. Richardson led them, and they almost got that one against the Rams.
Yeah.
Richardson had to come all the way back basically by himself.
The division is better than we thought, and let's just say DeMeco Ryans, what he's getting done in Houston, holy cow. And it doesn't hurt to have C.J. Stroud.
No.
Quarterback's pretty good, fellas.
Yep.
He's pretty good. They got him one for the future. We better have. Because he is. And we know the Jags have got one, and Anthony Richardson's playing pretty dadgum good. So we're the one right now, the 4, we got the next quarterback. We have the future guy.
And the answer is we don't know.
We don't know.
Hold on. Don't know. Maybe a couple of years. But another good quarterback, Justin Herbert, he suffered a fractured finger injury on Sunday. It's on his left non-throwing hand. And he'll have the bye week to rest this week. He shouldn't miss any playing time, but He played through that late in the game.
I was shocked.
I couldn't believe it.
Watson, Brandon Staley, up by a touchdown.
Let's go for it.
Gets third. I want to say this right. Third and 8.
Yeah.
And
it's third and long. Somewhere in there.
And we're all expecting him to run, let the clock run down to 1:15, and then let his defense take over. What does he do? The Mad Bomber bombs away, and they get a 40-yard completion. But if it doesn't work, today we're all going, what the hell's he doing?
This one I agreed with.
Okay.
George, we got a second here because it leads to some other things. That leads back to Notre Dame 2 weeks ago against Ohio State. And they bring in Sam Hartman. And they got the ball. And, okay, do we run it or throw a screen, run it, run the clock down and punt it on to them and give them a shot? And they're going up and down the field in the second half. Or do we let Sam Hartman, we brought him in to put this game away and win for us, they threw on first down the first play, got a first down. Then they decided to run the clock out after that. Let the guy win the game for you. So I disagree. I think that Notre Dame cost themselves that game, and then they line up in prevent defense on 4th down and 19 when they've been pressuring them with 5 people and giving their Ohio State quarterback all kind of grief. And then we go to Duke. God bless Duke, and they're pretty damn good. But, I mean, here they got 4th down and 2?
Right.
And they decide to pooch punt the ball to gain 15, 20 yards. Go win the game. You've got a quarterback that's fantastic, and he can come up with 2 yards somewhere, in my opinion. But go try to win the game, and then on the play that ends up beating them, they're in prevent defense. And let them catch it in 4th and long, and then they go in and end up winning the game. So I think what the Chargers guy did was right. Do we want to take a chance on our defense holding on here, or do we want to go win the game? So I would have thrown it in that 3rd and 8 right there myself. Easy to say after it worked.
Let me say this for Justin Herbert. Okay, there was nothing wrong with his throwing arm.
No,
on the other hand, he could have used that contraption to basically take somebody's eyeballs out. Somebody got near him, boom.
Yeah. That looked like Edward Scissorhands.
You got a devious mind, boy.
No, I'm just saying, did you see that thing on his left hand? I was like, my God.
You may see it in 2 weeks again.
Right. Right.
All right, to close it out here, college football, Florida has announced as a 19-point favorite over Vandy in Gainesville on Saturday. Next week, Georgia at Vandy is set for an 11 a.m. kick on CBS. That's the first game of a doubleheader, the second game that day.
CBS chose Georgia Vandy?
For the 11 a.m. game, the first part of that doubleheader.
They lost their minds.
At 2:30, Texas A&M at Tennessee. And that's all because of Georgia. I mean.
Billy, I'm aware of that. Okay,
but let's be real.
Some things don't change, Billy.
Right.
Well, the last time
I missed this, guys. I missed this.
You're welcome anytime. Your son up in Knoxville,
he misses it.
Asks about you. He asks, "Where's my stepfather?"
Where's my stepfather? Yeah, I'd rather be called his stepbrother instead of his stepfather. Believe it or not, but.
Oh, this is beautiful.
That's all we got.
Okay. When we come back, we'll get into Watson's Titans analysis and maybe a little of mine as well under the category. If you're going to play football, empty all the barrels. See Mike Vrabel. He did yesterday. We'll talk about it next.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. Well, the Titans had gone into yesterday with an embarrassing streak. What is it? 9 of the last 10 had ended up on the wrong side. And so Cincinnati was coming to town. God knows this is a team that has caused the Titans a lot of heartache in the last 18 months. And so it ends up in a real surprise, the Titans' finest hour of 2023, a 27-3 win over Cincinnati. And Watson, I thought the thing they did best was they set a mindset early that they were going to empty every barrel in the pursuit of winning. And that is, in my mind, Mike Vrabel's biggest strength.
Yeah, George, I agree with you 100%. And it just plays to Mike's MO. I mean, It's what he does best. When he gets his back against the wall, there becomes a grit to him and to the team, kind of a nastiness, and they come after you. And that's been his, like I said, that's been the MO of since he's been our head coach. I wasn't on your show, but I told everybody around me that I felt like they were going to win this game. I did. I thought they'd come back with a vengeance. We've all watched the 9 of 10 losses, George, but the last one was the worst I had seen a Mike Vrabel team. They got physically manhandled. I thought they waved the white flag early in the fourth quarter. It's just not what I've seen a Vrabel team do. So I thought they'd close the doors and hitch up the wagons and come together and give the Bengals all they had. Now, from there, gosh, guys, how long have we been talking on this show about use Derrick Henry more than they do, throw play action passes off of balls around his number 22, and it will work. And they do it here, there, every once in a while. They try to hammer him too much. And the other day, they finally did it. They threw 3 play action passes in a row for over 20-yard gains in a row. I hadn't seen that in forever. And so they did what I think that offense can do best. You start throwing those play action passes, whether you catch them or not, all of a sudden them holes are going to start opening for Derrick, guys. And they did. And then he gets going. And that's the only way for this offense to be successful. They've got to run Derrick and throw those play action passes and try your dangest to stay out of the third and longs. And then you go to the other side, George. This game was made for the Titans defense. Where is their strength? Defensive front. They're playing a quarterback that's hurt. He's injured. I'm not sure he's not hurt more than injured. And he cannot move a lick. And so they knew he was. You and I talked, George, before the week before this game and said, okay, it kind of won one with him just catching it and throwing it. But he can't keep doing that. These teams are not going to let him just stand there, catch, and throw it. Well, the Titans didn't. They came after him. They let him catch and throw. I don't think, guys, he can throw it deep. I don't think he can push off his back leg and throw it deep. I think they're taking a heck of a chance in playing this young man. What is his strengths? He don't have the strongest arm. You compare his arm to Justin Herbert's or even the kid that Wilson last night for the Jets. He does not have the strongest arm. His sense of time and accuracy, moving around in the pocket, scrambling around in the open space, that's what makes him such a great player. And Joe can't do that right now. The Titans were smart, took advantage of it, and absolutely brought 5, 4, 6 at times. They brought the house. They were not going to let him stand there and throw. It's been their best game plan, but Mike absolutely had them ready to play. And I think he knew if he lost that one, getting ready to play the first division game the next week, he had to win this game. And, George, I agree with you 100%. I thought that defensively they did what they do best. The secondary backed up, kept the ball in front of them. They knew they weren't going to throw it over the top of their head, and they just broke on the ball and tackled well. And the offense did the stuff that we've been begging to see. It's what Ryan Tannehill does best. Now, keep doing that. Don't go back to just Derrick, or lose your patience and get back into that drop back passing game. Stick to your guns, do what you're doing, and the Titans will be a factor still as this season goes on.
Watson, let's talk about what is their hesitation in doing what you think they need to do with Derrick Henry, because there was a point in the game where the play fakes to Henry, there was like 4 consecutive pass plays that got big yardage. So why do they not do more of this? What is their hesitation to using this, their best threat?
George, we've been asking this for honestly 3 years. And I think they got away with not having to do it that year where we won the division. We were first in the AFC. and got a bye game. And then the Bengals, I believe it was when it came to town. But we had been able to just run over people. If you remember, there were games we threw it 12, 13, 15 times in a game. Well, we can't do that anymore. And the offensive line isn't near what that one was. Derek's a little older. I don't think he can carry it 30, 35 times like he did a few games that year. And so it's time. Use this play action pass. And they learned their lesson. And they did it. I think that Mike went in and said, guys, we got to open up more. And it can't be the drop back pass because we can't protect. It was so embarrassing the week before when they're dropping back, trying to chip out off of Myles Garrett. Myles goes to one side. They go to chip on him, move over there. He comes back. They move back. They have to call a timeout. I mean, how embarrassing do you think that was for Mike? And he knows. He's a smart guy. He said, guys, we cannot protect with 5, 6 guys. We can't protect with a back blocking a linebacker and 5 linemen. We can't do it. So we've got to find other ways to be able to pass the ball. They did it. Now stick to it, and this could be a pretty good football team. I saw no weaknesses Sunday. Now the NFL's crazy, guys. I mean, how do you go from playing that bad to that good? And we see it all across the league. The league is so equal, it's mindsets. And Mike has got to set the mind now. We got to see that team come out and play that aggressive, that tough. They were ready for street fights yesterday. They were ready, man. And I mean everybody. Running backs jumping up off the ground. Everybody was into it, aggressive, tough. And that's Mike's MO. Play to what you got, Mike, and this team could be a factor as this year goes on.
Okay, let me throw a couple more out there. If you're Zach Taylor, why are you risking really serious injury to Joe Burrow? I felt bad for him yesterday, Watson. You could see he was getting the hell beat out of him. The Titans had made very clear, if he's going to sit there and that's all he can do right now, we're going to make him pay dearly for that.
Yep, and the reason you never could do that to Joe was he's such a good improviser. And he's not now. We watched him yesterday flinch a lot of times, George, and he's hurt. He's hurt. I'm not sure there's not Achilles that's been slightly strained or something, because this looks more like calf muscle to me. He won't even hardly pick that foot up. And when somebody gets close to him, he picks it up and protects it. So he does not need to be playing. They got to be better with a backup in there right now, because Joe can't throw a ball past 20 yards, guys. I don't think he can do it. For the last 2 weeks, I've not really seen a ball with any form of velocity make it past 20 yards. So why would you keep doing this and not just rest him and let him get well? And if he's back in 3 weeks, he's back in 3 weeks, and see if you can make a run at the end of the year and maybe get into as a wild card team. That's what they did before. And so I don't know. If that doesn't get their head coach's attention, watching that tape, George, and to take him out and protect him, I don't know what would.
Well, and he's a guy that usually, when he tucks it and runs, Watson, I'm not saying he's going to go truck a linebacker, but, he typically doesn't slide. He'll kind of take the hit and, kind of angle out of bounds. The one slide I saw, it was a quick slide, picked up about a yard, when in reality, maybe if he was healthy, maybe he tries to kind of, push forward and pick up 3 or 4. So even his running ability is usually a weapon, and it wasn't at all on Sunday.
I feel bad for him. He's a sitting duck.
Well, and he's a winner, and he's tougher than nails. But I can tell you, from playing that position, there's a point you start flinching, and you can't help it. And he knows he can't run. He can't do anything. I would venture to say, guys, 75, he's close to Mahomes in a lot of ways. 75% probably his plays are made from improvisation, where he'll just slide around in the pocket, get outside. He'll start upfield and flatten out at the line of scrimmage and find somebody to throw it to. He has a lot of Mahomes in him, but not hardly as athletic, but a lot of Mahomes in him. And you take that away from Joe Burrow, I just don't think it's best for him to be out there. I don't think it's best for his team. I think he's hurt bad enough that I think another quarterback would play better than him right now. And they become one-dimensional. He can't do anything. He doesn't get on the center anymore. He's in the gun on everything. It has completely changed their offense. I think Cincinnati is in trouble. And if they want to have any chance to win, they better put him down right now, because if they keep playing him like he is, I don't know if they're going to win any more games.
Watson, help me with this. Up till now, I haven't exactly thought Tim Kelly was God's gift to calling plays. Yesterday, I really liked from the very beginning. He showed Cincinnati some different stuff early that other teams have not seen on film. They were willing to take some chances. They were willing to get the ball way downfield. So does this start in some sort of a room like we're in right now, where Vrabel says to Kelly, we can't do it the way we've been doing it? I mean, who ultimately changes all of this? Because offensively, they took a bunch of chances yesterday, and I'm like, it's about damn time.
Yeah, and George, that's a great question, because it could be either. I've been there. I've been there. And when you hit rock bottom, and you just with whichever side of the ball it's on, offense or defense, when you hit rock bottom, it's usually the head coach that comes in and says, "Okay, had enough. We got to make some change. We can't keep doing what we're doing here. We're not getting better at it. It's not working. We've got to make some changes." Or it could be the coordinator going to the head coach, say, "Coach, I've given it all I got. We need to make some switches here, or we're going to get in real trouble." So you don't know the answer to that. But whoever it was the right thing. And I think they hit rock bottom, George. They came back on that plane from Cleveland, 94 yards, 6 first downs. I mean, rock bottom. And it wasn't right. You can't blame Ryan for that one, because he could hardly catch the ball and get hit. And so great decisions made. In my opinion, it's easy for us three to say it, but we three have been harping on this for 3 years. Throw the ball on early downs and loosen these defenses up. They had to come back and see 8 lined up in the cameras in the box at Cleveland, and taking gaps all over the place. They put in new running plays. They ran a bunch of sweep plays yesterday. They haven't done that in 3 years. They ran their zone play a lot more. They didn't run the stretch play near as much as they've been running it. They ran a lot more zone. Kept Derek in the game some, and used him as a decoy, and also used him as a flare and threw him some screens and flares outside. Used their running back Spears more in running downs and gave Derek rest, which I thought was very smart. And that kid's a good player, fellas. Spears is a good player. There's not a big drop-off when he goes in on first down to carry the ball. There's not a big drop-off. And so just a wonderful change of philosophy. I don't call it a game plan. I call it change of philosophy. And the one-on-ones came through. Every time they threw it to the receiver, he made the play. Only missed one where they ran the flea flicker, I think it was, and missed Hopkins deep a little bit. And the other thing I saw a little bit yesterday, guys, which was a good sign, I saw a little burst in Hopkins here and there, which I hadn't seen in the first 2 or 3 weeks. I wonder if his ankle isn't getting better now, and we're going to see some burst in him, and they can go deep to him more often.
Yeah, you mentioned Watson. Or Hopkins Watson, he had 3 catches for first downs on third downs in the game. And he's tied for the lead in the AFC with 8 such catches on the season. He hasn't done a ton, but when he has made catches, they've been huge catches to move the chain. So hopefully, that continues if you're the Titans.
Do you remember back when we lost, was it to the Bengals? And we had A.J. Brown then, and it was 4th down going in to win the game. 4th and 10, and we threw a curl hookup about 10 yards to Akina, I think. I can't remember who the receiver was, but it wasn't AJ. And the DB came over the top, batted the ball down. We lose the game. I think it was the Bengals game. And we said, why did you not throw it to AJ Brown? Well, in critical times, who are they going to right now? Hopkins, smart. Keep doing it. Keep doing it till he starts grabbing double teams, and then we better have another one we feel good about going to.
Watson, I want to ask you about one play, and Billy, I'm going to want you to show this if you can in a minute. The Bengals take a timeout when the Titans show them the Derrick Henry out of the shotgun. Okay? They take a timeout. The Titans have no timeouts left. If they run the football and they don't make it, the half is over. We're going to see this thing here in a minute.
Talking about the Henry pass.
Yeah, but Cincinnati was absolutely asleep at the wheel. I mean, when you watch this here in a minute, they've taken a timeout to discuss this play that we're going to see here in a minute. This is a thing of beauty for Derrick Henry. But when he gets into the shotgun and he's going to be the quarterback, don't all the bells and whistles have to go off in your head?
Absolutely. I mean, what are they going to do? It's going to be some kind of pass. How do you not get your team on the sidelines and say, every eligible receiver they have, cover him. Don't take fakes. Don't cover your man. That's all you got to do. They're in zero man. That's what they were in the play before they called timeout. They were again. And nobody covers the tight end on the backside. The only receiver on the backside. And there's a corner standing there that I don't know what he's doing, calling his girlfriend. I don't know. But he stands still. The Bengals corner stands completely still, and he didn't even go toward the tight end as he worked toward the back of the end zone. I don't know. That was a great call. To go back and call it again is even a better call. Say the hell with it, we're running it no matter what. And then the Bengals don't cover it. I just unbelievable to me. Now, guys, it takes an athlete to make that throw. He's going sideways and jumps and throws the ball backwards. Excuse me. And I've caught quarterbacks for 40-something years, and you never throw across your body back toward the middle of the field. He not only throws it back toward the middle of the field, he does a jump throw. And a guy nearly reached up and batted it down, but a linebacker, but he didn't get it. That takes an athlete now to do that. I don't care what you say. And that's one heck of a throw by Derrick Henry. But the Bengals, they ought to be shot for letting that happen.
We'll go to the break, and then we'll hear from Mike Vrabel, his thoughts about the win. They go to Indy next week to take on an improving Colts team. We'll see if the things Watson has talked about actually happened, or if they go back to the Cro-Magnon ways that got them nowhere in Cleveland. Stay tuned.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Okay, we're going to give you the opportunity to hear, 6-7 minutes of Mike Vrabel after the Bengals victory. Here goes.
Not getting audio. I'm going to work on that here for a second, George.
Okay. Let's see what else. Hey, Watson, I got one for you.
What you got, babe?
How good did you feel for Zach Wilson last night?
Oh, man. As great as it could get, and then he has that one play. But I think he's going to get there, George, because after that play happened, he didn't blame the center. He didn't blame anything. He said, I lost the game. He came into the press, said, I lost the game. He's growing up. And I think Aaron Rodgers, just back in his presence, just back in the building with him, is already giving him some confidence back. And he's got ability. He's got feet. He's got a very strong arm. He's got a quick release. His 2 touchdown passes were great throws. And I believe he's going to end up making it. Give him a year behind Aaron again next year, and I think he's going to end up being a good player.
What did you make of Rodgers saying, I intend to play again this year? Do you think that's possible?
Does that not sound like Aaron? He pops out these wildest statements at the most inopportune times. That's just Aaron. I don't think so. You don't come back from Achilles. It is of all of the muscle, tendon, nerve things, George, that happen, it is the hardest one to come back from. And it takes a long time. And even when you're back, you're not ready to be tackled and all of that again. There ain't no way he's playing this year.
Here's Mike Vrabel. Here's not Mike Vrabel.
We
okay.
played well, the opportunities that we had.
This just ain't working, George.
Not working. Okay, well, we know he liked Nick Folk, who, by the way, has done a heck of a job for them. Watson. Why would the Patriots get rid of him?
I don't know. Coach Belichick's not been real good at keeping the right people here in the last years, has he? Oh, man. You think Nick Folk ain't – you think he's not motivated? Man, he is on fire. And he's proven everybody in the Northeast how good he is, and you shouldn't let me go. I mean, they got him at a perfect time because he is absolutely motivated to the tilt.
And any thought that he didn't have the range, to get it there from 54, 55, or that the kickoffs couldn't get deep into the end zone, think again. He has been money for this team. Watson, let's go.
I mean, it's like his putts are hitting center of the cup,
Yeah.
George. I mean,
yeah.
They're right down the pipe. He's best. He's been the best player on the team so far. Most consistent, best football player the Titans have had this year.
Is Mac Jones going to make it in the NFL?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I would have thought I'd see a big jump in him since he got his coach back. Because O'Brien was his coach in college. And so I would have thought this would have really excited him. But tell me if you all don't see the same thing, because sometimes I overdo quarterbacks. But he's a step slow on everything he's doing. He's throwing balls late. He doesn't feel pressure and fumbles. I don't know. He just looks a step slow to me. It's like he's confused or something.
Well, certainly he didn't have this issue at the end of his Alabama career. He was really good. Now, he doesn't have the strongest arm in the league. A little bit like Joe Burrow. It's got to be accuracy. Yeah. It's got to be move around in the pocket, buy time, and then get rid of it. Watson, I don't know. Yesterday, it looked like amateur hour. You roll one way to get away from Micah Parsons and then throw all the way back, and his arm isn't strong enough for that.
No, he looks to me like a guy that's lost a quarterback that's lost his confidence. And George, a quarterback that's lost his confidence is not a pretty sight. It's not a pretty sight, and that's any of them all over the country, high school, college, pros. When that guy that's got to make all the decisions in a very quick amount of time, within seconds, and you lose your confidence, it's ugly. And that's what I think's happened to him. He's totally lost his confidence. And they may have to bench him and then try to bring him back again. I don't know. But he's gotten worse, in my opinion, on how y'all feel. I think he's gotten worse as the season's gone on.
What options do they have, though? I mean,
I don't know if they got any.
Zappy was a guy they put. Zappy was a guy they put. Basically anybody could have had Zappy at the end of training camp.
Yeah, they got him back as the third guy, right? Who's their backup?
I think it's Zappy.
He is the backup now.
I think he is. I don't know.
Have to play him.
Yeah, I don't know who their third is. Either way, Watson, hang with us. We will do stat of the day, which we'll probably bomb at. And then we'll get into some college football talk on a crazy weekend in the SEC. All of you stick around. This is the George Plaster Show. Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. So who said I can't be a golfer? Well, you know what? This is X Golf, located just down the road from the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. This is fun. It'll improve your golf game, and you need to stop in and check it out. 8138 Sawyer Brown Road, and who knows, I may get to 200 before it's all over. Here's my buddy Sam Moran to tell you about a basketball event that's coming just around the corner that you need to attend.
Thank you, George. Stars Basketball Club will be having our nightly fundraising dinner on Tuesday, October 3rd at Brentwood Baptist Church. That's at 7777 Concord Road in Brentwood, Tennessee. We look forward to hosting Coach Jimmy Dykes with ESPN and SEC Network basketball college analysts, as well as Miss Betty Wiseman from Belmont University with other college coaches in attendance. You can go and find out more at starsbasketballclub.com. And we look forward to seeing you Tuesday, October 3rd at 5:30 in Brentwood, Tennessee.
Order your tickets. I'll be there, and I hope you will be as well.
All right, I'm here with my buddy Chip Ward from Lincoln Home Loans. And Chip, it's football season, and it feels like it's moving season every time of the year, especially here in Nashville. Tell us about your business, Chip, and kind of introduce people to who you are and what you do here in the Nashville area.
Well, you're exactly right, Billy. It is definitely moving season, as it is most times, especially right here after Labor Day. Kids are back in school, and people are starting to think they want to get settled in before the holidays. And so what we are doing is right now we are getting a lot of people pre-approved for home loans. Inventory has ticked up a little bit. You know, it has been down, but it's rebounding a little bit. And right now is a good time to buy.
Chip, real quick before I let you go, tell people how they can reach you. And if someone is interested in your business, how would they reach out to you?
Well, sure. At Lincoln Home Loans, you can reach me at 615-500-7579. My URL for my application page is chipward.net, and my email address is simply chip@chipward.net. And so I'd love to hear from anybody. I can answer any questions about the whole home buying and financing process.
Top of the hour on a Monday. It's now time for Stat of the Day, brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee. All right, let's see what Matthew's got cooked up for us today. Going baseball, Luis Arraez is the second player to win the batting title in both the National League and the American League. Who was the first?
Oh, Watson, I feel like I ought to know this one.
Yeah, I'm putting this on you, big boy.
Yeah, I hear you. Gosh. I don't know. And I've got a feeling I ought to know that it's somebody.
Well, let's talk it out a little bit.
Okay, let's do. Billy, don't reveal anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was good.
Well, I'm trying to think of who's it gone from one league? How about what's his name? Robinson.
You're talking Frank Robinson. I don't think
Frank Robinson.
You know, his name was one that came to mind. You know what? Did Frank Robinson ever win the Triple Crown?
I don't know.
I think he did.
I think he did.
I think he did.
But
in Baltimore.
I swear I think he did.
You know what? This is a good answer. Let's go with it.
It is incorrect, and it is DJ LeMahieu.
Oh, my God.
Oh, good gracious.
Right.
I don't think
he won. Well, you know what? I mean, it's a great question. He won it as a Rocky, and sure enough, he won it as a Yankee, and this year, he wasn't very good.
No. I would have never guessed that in a million years.
LeMahieu. Wow. Great question.
Heck of a question.
Great question.
Good question. I always come back to the good questions, Jeff.
Yeah, because we have no choice. That was a very good one. Watson, you ready to talk about something you do know about?
Let's go. What you got?
Okay. Let's go college football for a while. let's talk Tennessee, South Carolina. You knew the Vols would be ready. It was an electric atmosphere at Neyland Stadium. You know, when you get them in that environment with some ability, they are tough to beat.
I've been in that stadium many times. And the last couple of times, there's been once last year, I think it was Alabama, and then this year that I've never seen it as loud as it is. And I've been in there when it's really loud. When it's going, I've always told y'all, Texas A&M's the best one that I've ever been in as far as just pure, you can't hear anything. But I think when Tennessee goes like that, that might be right there with it. It just might be. And but I think best thing I saw for Tennessee, which I hadn't seen in years, is guys, they won that game in the lines. The offensive line and the defensive line dominated that football game. It didn't have to be some fast skill guy or a quarterback or whatever. They won the line of scrimmage. South Carolina looked like an FCS offensive line trying to protect the other day.
What do you do about Brew McCoy? How do you make up for that?
I don't know, because I haven't. That's the one disappointing thing. I hadn't seen young receivers that have just popped up and been what I would think, because I would think you could get all kind of great receivers to want to come play there. They may be on the team, and maybe they just hadn't learned the system. The system's not easy to learn. From watching them play, I don't think it's easy to play wide receiver at Tennessee. There's a lot to learn. I think they do a lot of vertical option stuff, which means when to pull up, when to keep going, when to run a slant route, when to run a fade route. I think there's a lot built into their system with that, and that may be what the issue is. But he was their best guy. Squirrel's a good player, and he's going to have to take over. That was a great catch he made.
Oh my goodness! Yes,
what a catch! But that hurts, and they're going to have some guys step up now. They can't wait on them. They got to get going, because they're fixing to jump into the real meat of their schedule.
A&M, Alabama, later in the year at home against Georgia.
And they've also got Kentucky and Missouri.
Oh, that's
both
right.
On the road.
Yeah. I almost let that one slip.
I'm telling you now.
They've got.
Yeah, no, it's the heat's on. It's coming now. They're in the meat, and they got to win these games. They got to win 3 of the 4 to have any kind of feeling like they've had a great year. They can't lose but one more and have for the Tennessee people and the staff to feel like they've had a great year.
So they bombed the first real test at Florida, and now you're seeing sort of the uptick from that. What do you think Tennessee really is?
Not sure just yet. Since Florida, they haven't played anybody just really good. I mean, South Carolina guys, my brother sacked him 9 times. So that South Carolina is not very good. Their quarterback just makes plays, and he'll win some games for them. But their trench play is rough, and so I'm not sure Tennessee. And we know Florida's not great, so I'm not sure Tennessee is tested yet. I see signs. The sign Saturday with the dominance in the defense and offensive lines. If when you play Tennessee style, it's a total count system, guys. If there's 6 or less in the box, they'll run the ball. If there's more than that, they're going to throw it. If there's 5 in the box, they're dang sure running it. If there's 6 in the box, you can run or throw it. But for Tennessee to do that, and somebody says, okay, we're going to put 6 in here, and we're going to play, we're going to be hat up on the outside on everybody, then you better be able to run the ball. In that style, you have to be able to run the ball when they tell you to run it. And so that was a good sign for what I saw with Tennessee Saturday. Quarterback's getting better. He's getting better, just slightly better each week. And but losing McCoy is huge for that offense, in my opinion.
Watson, I want to get your take on something that, I don't know, I felt like I figured out about 3 weeks ago. Georgia is your 2-time defending national champion. The Georgia I watched this year can't beat Texas, don't believe they can beat Florida State, don't believe they can beat Ohio State. Now, they're ranked number 1 in the country, and rightfully so, until they lose to the victor goes the spoils. They've earned the right to stay number one. That said, I don't believe they're the best team in college football. And I think Auburn taking them to the mat is the latest in a series of little storm clouds that make me think Georgia is not going to be there at the end.
If Auburn was just a little bit better on offense, just a little bit, had a little bit better quarterback play, they win that game. Where's Georgia not near as good as a year ago?
Quarterback.
Guys? Defense.
Quarterback.
Defense first. That's the two I was going to say. You just went backwards on it. Defense and quarterback. They're not near as good at either place. Quarterback's getting better. I don't know if the defense is going to get better. Ball's been moved on them now a lot more. And they're not dominant to where when that offense don't just click, that everything, they're winning on defense. I don't think they're capable of winning games on defense this year. So I do not think they'll be the national champions. And I'm not sure it ain't 50-50 with maybe Alabama. I don't think it'll be LSU after watching that defense. They may make it out of the SEC. Alabama's the one I think that would be the toughest on them. But they ain't beat Tennessee and Knoxville yet either. And but they could still maybe lose to Tennessee and still win it because Tennessee already has a loss. And if Tennessee were to lose to Alabama or one of the others, then that would knock them out. So the division is not near as good. Would you all say that? The east side or the west side. The SEC is not near as good. Not near as good as it was a year ago. The reason for that is quarterback play. Quarterback play. Everybody's kind of struggling. The big boys are struggling at quarterback. And till those positions start really coming on, I think the Georgia quarterback's getting better. But can he make all the plays that guy last year made for them? Stetson Bennett made. I just don't see him getting to that point.
See if you would buy this. The Ohio State that took Georgia to the mat on New Year's Eve would beat this team by 10.
Yes, I agree with that. Everybody's kind of, Ohio State's overrated. I don't think they are overrated. I think Notre Dame's good, not great, really, really good, and they go into Indiana and win. But they can do everything. They can run it. They can throw it. The defense is solid. I think Ohio State today, if they play Georgia in a neutral site, wins by 10. There'll probably be some Southeastern Conference people yell at me over that one. That's the way I feel. And I think Michigan beats Ohio State by 10 in Ann Arbor later in the year. Michigan's good. Really good.
Michigan looks like the best team in the country right now. McCarthy.
I'm not sure they're not.
McCarthy's playing at a really high level. I know they haven't played anybody. But I mean,
and that defense is bona fide.
Yeah,
I think they have the best defense right now in the country, Billy. I think Michigan's defense right now is playing at a level I don't see anybody else. Alabama's is playing good. Alabama's is playing very good, but I don't think it's Michigan yet.
Watson, here's where I can't figure anything out. I thought Ole Miss did everything but raise a white flag in the fourth quarter in Tuscaloosa and say, we want no part of you. Okay? And then Saturday, LSU has no answers at all for Ole Miss. I'll admit that stunned me.
Stunned me too. Does that mean Alabama's that dadgum good, or is it just college football right now? I think Alabama's got the best defense in the SEC. Alabama's offense doesn't touch their offense from a year ago. But their defense is, I think, the best in the SEC. But how in the world? What did Ole Miss do? Did you watch that one? I don't know if you watched it. I got interested in that one.
I watched quite a bit of it.
Yeah, I watched nearly that whole game. And all they're doing, they didn't do anything fancy. They're running the ball right down LSU's throat with two different running backs who are just going up and down the field. And then Dart would take off on a run. And it wasn't like LSU was doing something. Ole Miss was doing something out of sight that caught them off guard. But I've noticed that about LSU all year. I thought the defense has been weak. And now I think they played the best offense they played and stunk. Now they'll get better, but that makes me think, guys, I think Alabama's going to win the West again. I think they'll be playing Georgia in the game if Georgia gets there. If Georgia gets there. I'm not sold that Georgia's going to make it through the East just yet because of Tennessee.
Brian Kelly is 4-4 in his last 8 games at LSU. And in those 4 losses, Matt House's defense, he's their DC, has allowed 47 points per game. This LSU defense.
I interviewed Matt House. At Tech to hire him as my defensive coordinator. He's a great guy and a great coach. He was young then, really young. And I don't know. I can't see a Matt House defense doing this. But
because they've got the talent
I mean,
too, Watson. They've got the guys.
The proof's in the pudding, Billy. They're not very good, and they don't look physical, do they? That's what's amazing me. They look athletic. They look like they can run, but they don't look physical, and they look tired to me all the time. I'm not sure how good a condition they're in. But anyway, it's a red flag, man. Now LSU's offense is probably the best in the SEC. It'll be that with, I'm not sure they aren't the best offense right now in the SEC because Ole Miss is too inconsistent and Tennessee's been inconsistent so far. But the quarterback's bona fide. He's playing the best in the conference. Daniels is playing the best in the conference. I'm not sure there's a close second right now. I had Rattler right there. When I talked to George on the phone the other day, I had Rattler as 2. I don't think he's got any chance because of the people around him. That offensive line's horrendous. So he's going to fade. You can't keep getting hit like that and keep making consistent plays. So the SEC's up for grabs, guys. I'm with George. I'm not sure Georgia is even a top 4, much less number 1 in the country. They should be ranked there right now, in my opinion, just because they won it last year and they hadn't lost. But it's a long way to go yet.
Now LSU's got Missouri at Missouri. That early kick in Como. I'll be excited for that one.
Yeah, that'll be.
I will too, but I will too. But I think LSU plays better and they beat Missouri.
They'll be angry.
I think Missouri is a little overrated. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm not sure. I'm going with Missouri yet.
Let's go to Lexington and talk both sides of this. Let's start with Florida. Okay, they got the crap kicked out of them. Really were not very competitive. Watson, it seems to me that guy right there, Billy Napier, the goodwill that he was able to capture by ripping Tennessee around pretty good, a lot of that went out the window Saturday with the way they played at Kentucky.
Yeah, I did. And when you watched them play Tennessee, as you watched that game, you still had major question marks about their offense, didn't we not?
Yep.
When we watched them play, they were pretty decent, ran the ball well in the first half, made some nice long runs, didn't do anything in the second half. Defense won the game basically for them. And then when the defense gets stuck like that by Kentucky Saturday, the Vanderbilt Ray Davis, guys, he's bona fide. Oh, that had to kill Vanderbilt to let him go. 2 guys for Vanderbilt that aren't there that made all the plays last year, guys. Mike Wright and Ray Davis. They're not there anymore. Mike Wright won most of their games that they won in the SEC. He was the quarterback when they won, and Ray Davis, I don't know that we knew how good he was because he wasn't behind a great offensive line at Vanderbilt. But he's bona fide. Now Kentucky's got a tailback. They run a tailback U. They're the only team in the SEC that's running old-timey tailback-oriented football. And they've got a quarterback that's good enough to throw those play-action passes and make plays, and the defense is solid, very solid. Look out for Kentucky. I think Kentucky's going to end up in the upper echelon of the league. And if they could go to Knoxville and beat Tennessee in Knoxville, look out.
I'm not sure they don't give Georgia a fight till the end either. I know it's in Athens, which I wish if it was in Lexington.
This would have been the year to play it in Lexington for them. What did Davis?
If that was in Lexington, I'd pick them. If it was in Lexington, I'd pick Kentucky. I can't go with Kentucky in Athens. Yeah. I just can't go there.
What were the Davis?
I think it's going to be a great game, though.
Davis was it 270?
280 yards.
280? Good Lord.
And some of the runs, I watched it. I got interested in that one after he got going. I said, dang, man.
Well,
and some of those runs, he's dodging people right and left, running over people, knee kicking them and running over them. I mean, he's a good football player.
He is. And Kirby Smart earlier today in Georgia's availability, he called him a similar guy to DeAndre Swift. He said he's
pretty strong.
One of the better backs. And I was saying that last year. He was just behind a Vanderbilt offensive line with not as much space, but he did as much as he could. I knew this year at Kentucky with a good offensive line and Liam Cohen calling plays. I mean, there's a lot of times, Watson, he'll just kind of run out to the side and they'll throw it to him and say, hey, go break tackles.
No.
Just give it to him.
He's doing it all. He's got good hands. He can run after the catch really good, dodge you, or run over you, either one. And he's a class act. I met this young man when he was at Vanderbilt and got to spend about 10 minutes with him. He is a first-class kid. I mean, when you meet him, he'll melt you.
Yeah.
He owns the room. I really believe, I bet you he's taken over as one of the main leaders of that football team. I'll just bet you. Because you know how you'll walk away from different people we all meet in this world, and then all of a sudden you meet one and say, ooh, that guy is sharp. Yeah. Well, that was the way I felt about Ray Davis.
And he's got a good story. I think he was a foster child that was picked up by a family, and they kind of it's a good story. Somebody in Kentucky wrote a great story on him. So
if we want to pull for one person in the SEC, I'd say that's the guy, guys, because he is the epitome of what I think college football ought to be.
Yeah.
Couple of thoughts on my end on Vandy. If you were to say, okay, give me 3 or 4 teams that have made the biggest drop in 1 year. At the top of the list for me would be Houston under Dana Holgorsen. They suck, period.
Yeah.
Baylor, I have thought until Saturday when, I don't know, Central Florida fell asleep. I have no idea. I didn't get to see the game. I know Central Florida was up like 35-7 at one point and didn't close the deal.
Historic collapse.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, Vandy's right there. Vanderbilt is a dumpster fire. And part of it is stupid football. When you jump off sides 4 or 5 times in the same fashion, where defense trying to show blitz can't stop and instead jumps, it's just stupid football. And there's too much of this going on with them. Now, here, what I really don't understand is this. Okay, you go in with the knowledge every week that your offensive line stinks. You know that. There's nothing, magical about figuring that out. So why aren't you doing some of the things that, if you know that, you need to be doing? Get the ball out of the quarterback's hands quick. Use wide receiver screens. Use real screens. Do some of the things that are at your disposal. They are not the first team in college football to have a sucky offensive line, but they just continue to do things that, in my mind, make no sense whatsoever. And people are starting to notice the drop-off from, in particular, near the end of last year to what they are now is alarming. It is very alarming. And I don't know what's going on over there, but this is the one thing I am certain of. There is a tug of war going on right now between that coaching staff and Will Shepherd. There clearly is. They don't like the way he blocks. Apparently, he's copped some attitude that seems to be, screw you, I'm all you've got. And in a lot of cases, he's right. I don't understand why they wait until they're down huge to start showing you whatever it is they do have. Against Missouri, suddenly in the fourth quarter,
started airing it out.
They start airing it out. I'm like, where the hell has this been? It doesn't do you any good to air it out when you're down 22. or 24 or whatever.
The backdoor cover.
Yeah. Well,
To defend that a little bit, George, they're airing it out against backups.
No
they're
question.
They're airing it out against guys that know the game's over, and they're backing off, or I mean I've been there. I've scored points late in games and done that too. But I just know they're not playing well. I don't know why. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not sure I know. Is it because they're not ready yet, or is it a bunch of young kids that don't know? I think two things that I do know. I think they lost their two top leaders in Mike Wright and Ray Davis. Two top leaders on that team last year, in my opinion. After meeting Ray Davis, there ain't no doubt he wasn't the leader of that team. And then I think Mike Wright was. And I think when both of those left as older players, and then the second thing is when you get into, I've been at these kind of schools in these big conferences. And when you're in a SEC, or I was in the Southwest Conference, and you're playing conference teams, and you know what you get in those 8 games. And then you play a non-conference game, and everybody thinks, well, they're going to kill this team. They're an SEC team, and they're going to kill this team. And I think that then the kids get uptight in those games. And I think that's what happened early in the year when they went to Wake Forest and when they went to Vegas. They played very tight. They lost, and then your karma's kind of gone, and now all of a sudden you jump in the SEC again. And that's not easy to do. So, George, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying at all, but I just think the jury's still out, and they got to keep getting better players. And sometimes you can have better players than they play. They don't look very good right now, but they could also be young guys. George, you remember my last 2 years, and we played with very young guys at the end of my time. And we don't have near time to go through why, but we played with very young players at the end of my time, and they didn't play great, and we lost games. But I knew we were going to be really good. They ended up being really good, and that's what I hope for Clark, that he's got good young players that are just not playing good yet.
Well, and after the game, I know, when you lose a game like this, probably no one wants to watch the post-game presser, but I thought it was interesting. He said, we're under construction, like our stadium right now. We're building a program, and last season everybody looks at the 5 wins, right? 2 SEC wins, but you forget that Ray Davis and Mike Wright are both off that team. And we've talked about this before, but those 2 guys were dudes. You're seeing it. Mike Wright scored against Alabama. He kept it and cut it to 7 Saturday night, and Ray Davis, we saw what he did. And they switched up the offense completely. Now they're doing the totally opposite of that, and that's it wasn't going to be perfect this year, but I don't think anybody expected it to be the way it has gone.
Watch what I'm saying about.
Yeah, George, I think you're dead. You're on, and Billy, I think you're both of you. I think you're on to something, and maybe George, the Shepherd situation, Mike Wright and Ray Davis handled that better. Maybe they were good enough leaders that they could keep that under control. And I just think those 2 guys made all the plays. They made the plays. And Mike didn't make a bunch throwing, but he seemed to always, in those games they'd win,
just enough.
He seemed to always, at a critical time, just make a play somehow. And a lot of times, Billy, it wasn't even pretty.
No.
But he'd just make a play and keep a drive going, or the touchdown pass to beat Kentucky. He hadn't thrown it well all day long against Kentucky, but yet he makes a play to win the game at the end. And Ray Davis can't be talked about enough. I can promise you, Clark was sick when he came in and left, and I understand why he left. He wanted a shot to be on a really good team. He didn't want to be here while they're still trying to build it. He wanted a chance to be on one that he thought he knew what Kentucky does. Their style fits him. And I think he made a great move.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that about Vanderbilt. I'm not taking any shot at Vanderbilt here. I'm just saying I think Ray Davis knew what his future was and needed a place to go be able to prove it better. And good gracious, he's doing it.
Watson, thank you for coming in and pinch hitting. I know Kelly will appreciate it. We'll see you again next Monday.
I had a blast, guys. Thanks for having me on.
So did we.
See you, Watson.
Thank you, Watson.
See you guys.
Okay, after the break, we'll get Kelly's top 4 at 4. Yes, he's a contributor today.
Kelly's coming on?
No, he gave me
okay.
his 4.
We've also got a question. This was for Watson.
Okay.
From Ricky. So we'll try to answer that involving the Pac-12 coming up.
Who's the best team?
Yeah.
Oregon.
It's debatable. I mean, it's either Oregon, Washington, or USC. They'll all eat each other up by the end of the season, but just like they always do.
It's a fun conference this year.
It really is.
Pac-12 after dark is, Pac-2.
Yeah, Oregon looks like they've got the best defense, but USC.
Ask Dion.
That's all you got to do.
Okay, top 4 coming up, or at least Kelly's version of it, and then studs and duds. And there are 4 of both, so stick around.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
The George Plaster Show is Nashville's best sports talk, 2 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. There's a podcast version available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7983. 7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House for all your personalization and recognition needs.
We're back. Here is the best news of the day. Just got a text from Kelly Holcomb. If you're watching this live on Monday afternoon, he said surgery went great. She is in recovery now, and for that we are very thankful.
Nice.
Don't know whether Kelly will be back tomorrow or not. This is way more important than what we're doing, and he knows that, and knows that whenever he's ready to come back, great, and if not, no big deal. He did contribute, though, with his top 4 in college football, and he went similar to what most people did in that I don't think, off of talking to him yesterday, he deep down believes Georgia is the best team in college football. However, as long as they stay undefeated, there's a little bit of a to the victor goes the spoils. They are 2-time defending national champions. I don't believe for a minute that they're as good as the 3 that are also listed here. But until they lose, it really wouldn't be fair to throw them out.
No, it's all about, at least right now with resumes, who you play and how you played them, right? Also where you played them. Texas went on the road and beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Georgia has... they almost lost to Auburn at home.
Yeah, it was at Auburn.
Or at Auburn, But, those 2 games right there, Texas going into Tuscaloosa and really handling them, at least for most of that second half. Georgia struggling to go beat Auburn. I think that tells you a little bit right there.
What is today, October 2nd? Okay,
yep.
On October 2nd, their resume isn't anywhere near what some other teams are. Texas has gone to Alabama, as you mentioned. The Florida State win on a neutral site against LSU does not mean as much as it did at the start of September.
Yeah.
But they have also gone to Clemson and won, and Ohio State's road win at Notre Dame. Those are all committee positives. And Georgia, it may well be that their biggest test is going to Knoxville.
Yeah.
Until if they're fortunate enough to get to an SEC title game. Who knows? Anyway, that's the 4 right now. Can you make arguments for others? Sure, there's a Southern Cal out there. There's an undefeated Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
There's certainly a Michigan, which may well be the best team, but who have they played?
Right. Up these 4, I think Kelly's doing it the right way, seeing who they've played so far and how they've looked. Michigan, by the eye test, yeah, you could have them in your top 4, but just going off, wins and who you've beaten, I think this is probably the best top 4.
Michigan, by the way, later in the year goes to Penn State. If I had been Penn State, I would not have wasted the whiteout on that pitiful Iowa offense.
Yeah, who made that decision?
I don't know.
And also Cade McNamara out for the season, I think now. Iowa quarterback.
At Iowa, yeah. It's
tough injury.
They've done a lot of winning, but boy, they have struggled in the process. Okay, let's get to the studs and the duds. And we'll start with the studs, and we'll begin right there in Hottie Toddyville. Man.
What a scene that was.
Did they look good? This is showing some age, but when I was in school, Vaught Hemingway was kind of a dump.
Yeah.
It really was. And
just boring and dead.
Yeah, and to see the way they have built that place into about a 62,000-seat madhouse. And yeah, I know the SEC will fine them, and I know that there are safety issues, but it was really cool.
It was a madhouse.
Oh, to see Saturday night.
Well, and Lane has transcended the Ole Miss, the bad connotation with that program, right? Ole Miss used to be, they'll never win this big game, but they go beat LSU at home, and this is the signature win.
Oh,
and Kiffin Kiffin has transcended that, which I think, needs to be applauded. He hadn't really had a signature win. I mean, he went in Knoxville and beat Tennessee, but that was a
got a golf ball.
Year one of Heupel, yeah.
Got a golf ball.
Yeah, I got a golf ball and a mustard bottle to go with it. But
it was more to me the bounce back, because I didn't like their body language at the end of the Alabama game. They came as close to quitting at the end without being able to say they quit, but they certainly, it felt like the white flag was about to go up.
Yeah. Well, and late in the game, that game-winning touchdown, I'm glad Kiffin, he went for it. He said, we're going to go for the win right here. Throw a screen pass we think is going to work. And this kid here, Trey Harris, he played his butt off Saturday night. So, but yeah, that was a crazy scene.
Stud number 1. Now to number 2. Oh, I know who he is.
King
Derrick Henry. Bless his heart.
Threw his third touchdown of his career.
Yeah. Cincinnati asleep at the wheel on that play.
Yeah.
It is very interesting that when they're able to get some level of throwing game, when you have to back away from having 9 guys trying to kill him, that he can still be very effective.
Yeah.
Maybe he is not what he was 4 years ago. I don't know. I know we all think there's been a little bit of drop off, but I know this: when the guy is given half a chance and doesn't have to run, halfway through communist China to get somewhere, he's still pretty damn good.
When he gets to the edge full speed, it's pretty fun to watch because he does still get up there pretty darn fast. I mean, we forget about his speed when he gets loose. He needs space first, like most running backs.
He needs a chance.
Yeah, but he needs that initial burst, the first 5 yards, and when he gets going, he's tough to stop.
Here's one that you're going, what? West Virginia.
The Mountaineers.
Neil Brown probably would
Saved
have been
his job.
fired if they were not looking for an athletic director at the time. So he got one more year almost by default. You look at some of the wins West Virginia has had. They've beaten Pittsburgh, which is not as good a win as it appeared. They went to Fort Worth Saturday night, and there's one more, and I can't think of who it is.
Well, no, you're right. They've had some good wins, and I mean this one beating the national runner-up at their place. I know TCU's a little down, but this might be a little bit more about TCU and how much they've dropped. I can't believe how maybe not non-competitive, but just how they've dropped off after last year. They lost a ton.
West Virginia is going to get to a bowl, and that will save his job.
Good for Neil Brown.
And then the fourth one. People better start wearing red like the Texans.
Wear red.
So they went with their red, which is a way better look than their ugly blue.
Yeah.
Here's what we know. C.J. Stroud is for real.
Stud.
He looks really good. And secondly, DeMeco Ryans, there's something going on in Houston that's way better than what we've been normally dealing with.
It's amazing when you get the right coach and the right quarterback at the same time. Same vision, and they've got it rolling now, and all of a sudden the Texans are a big-time challenger for the Titans.
On to the duds.
We start with Billy Napier.
Dud. What kind of a performance was that?
That was awful.
Can you say, get a letter, put a stamp on it, and mail it in? They mailed it in.
Ray Davis put the stamp on that letter.
So if the seat had cooled as of about 2 weeks ago, somebody put a big old Bunsen burner under that seat.
And if he loses to Vandy,
well,
it's not going to happen. But if
I don't think so.
If somehow it does,
he's
done. He's done.
He's done. Okay, I don't get this one.
Come on, Gus.
In Gus we trust.
35-7.
God,
what in the world happened
to a Baylor that we believe was up here under Dave Aranda, James Carville?
I told you Friday, George.
Yeah,
Baylor.
No.
Baylor's bad.
Don't take credit for that.
But 12.5 was way too many points.
Yeah, but it was 35-7. I bet when it was 35-7, you weren't chirping that, were you? No.
When they came back.
Yeah, you were like, I'm going to call George. So There's a new defensive coordinator in Atlanta. Oh, no, you skipped one.
What was the next one?
Georgia Tech.
Oh, I did skip one.
Oh, pilot error.
Another pilot error.
Okay, so Georgia Tech got beat by Bowling Green, and we're not talking Western Kentucky Bowling Green. We're talking about the other Bowling Green. Got beat at home by double digits.
Yeah.
So what did Brent Key do? He demoted his defensive coordinator today or yesterday.
Interesting.
Okay, on to this one. I think it was important for the Dolphins to be really competitive in this game because in recent years, the question has been, can Miami get to Buffalo's level? And I think all of us, as of about a week ago when they hung 70 on Denver, said to ourselves, they may be at Buffalo's level.
Yeah.
Well, Buffalo at home said, we're still your daddy.
Yep.
By the way, just a thought here. What do you think the plane ride was like last night from Chicago to Denver?
Oh,
boy,
no.
I bet that was a joyride, huh?
Whew. The Bears.
Sean Payton looks like he's about to swallow the same hand grenade that Brian Kelly has swallowed a couple of times.
They get that look on their face.
Gets all red-faced.
Well, Marcus Freeman, I know, Duke isn't on our duds. I don't think they deserve to be. Duke, I thought, fought their tails off.
Man.
And I feel for Riley Leonard late in that game.
Yes, I hated that he got hurt. Good player.
But, Notre Dame, it was kind of the reverse of last week against Ohio State. If you think back to that fourth quarter late in the game against Duke, they kind of froze up a little bit. Notre Dame ended up going out and winning it, just like Ohio State did. And Sam Hartman, I think, learned from it. He said on that 4th and 16, I'm just going to go run the ball and do it on my own. So credit to Duke for staying in there, but Notre Dame stays alive. And so I think that's kind of a bonus stud I want to throw in there, even though Notre Dame looked a little shaky, but they survived Durham. Now they got Louisville.
Did you get that sponsored by the Catholic Church?
the Pope.
Good.
Brought to you by the Pope.
Right. He's not sponsored our show in recent years.
No, he hasn't.
We'll go to the break. Plaster Bet of the Day is coming. I don't even remember how I did this weekend. I don't think it was great,
George.
But I don't think it was horrible. We'll find out next. Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. So who said I can't be a golfer? Well, you know what? This is X Golf, located just down the road from the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. This is fun. It'll improve your golf game, and you need to stop in and check it out. 8138 Sawyer Brown Road, and who knows, I may get to 200 before it's all over.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Here's my buddy Sam Moran to tell you about a basketball event that's coming just around the corner that you need to attend.
Thank you, George. Stars Basketball Club will be having our nightly fundraising dinner on Tuesday, October 3rd at Brentwood Baptist Church. That's at 7777 Concord Road in Brentwood, Tennessee. We look forward to hosting Coach Jimmy Dykes with ESPN and SEC Network basketball college analyst, as well as Miss Betty Wiseman from Belmont University with other college coaches in attendance. You can go and find out more at starsbasketballclub.com. And we look forward to seeing you Tuesday, October 3rd at 5:30 in Brentwood, Tennessee.
Order your tickets. I'll be there, and I hope you will be as well.
All right, I'm here with my buddy Chip Ward from Lincoln Home Loans. And Chip, it's football season, and it feels like it's moving season every time of the year, especially here in Nashville. Tell us about your business, Chip, and kind of introduce people to who you are and what you do here in the Nashville area.
Well, you're exactly right, Billy. It is definitely moving season, as it is most times, especially right here after Labor Day. Kids are back in school, and people are starting to think they want to get settled in before the holidays. And so what we are doing is right now we are getting a lot of people pre-approved for home loans. Inventory has ticked up a little bit. It has been down, but it's rebounding a little bit. And right now is a good time to buy.
Chip, real quick before I let you go, tell people how they can reach you. And if someone is interested in your business, how would they reach out to you?
Well, sure. At Lincoln Home Loans, you can reach me at 615-500-7579. My URL for my application page is chipward.net, and my email address is simply chip@chipward.net. And so I'd love to hear from anybody. I can answer any questions about the whole home buying and financing process.
Final segment on a Reaction Monday. It's now time for Plaster's Bet of the Day. Monday Night Football tonight is Seattle and the New York Giants. Is that one at MetLife?
Oh, excuse me. That one doesn't really have the marquee stuff that last night did.
No, I don't know why they decided to go Seahawks and Giants on a Monday night. I mean, who made that decision?
Somebody that said we got to put both of them on at some point.
I mean, my goodness.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
We won't be watching
review
that.
yet?
We are in review.
Okay.
2 losses, 4 wins.
Oh, not bad. 4-2 weekend.
Not bad.
Yeah.
UCF gagged it.
Oh.
And LSU lost.
Oh, God. So I really was close to something spectacular.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't feel like I would have gotten credit.
I'm still surprised Lane Kiffin pulled that off. There are a lot of people saying Lane Kiffin, he loses big games. He's not going to win it, but they found a way.
They won that one. LSU didn't play a lick of defense.
No, neither did Ole Miss.
So, that oftentimes they call Monday Night Football the double up to catch up night. This would be a really hard one to have to put your double up to catch up money.
Stay
on.
away.
So Seattle's a 1.5 favorite in New York. And look, I think the Seahawks are the better team, but I'm going to go the other way tonight. I'm going to go G-Men. They got humiliated in the opening weekend of the season in the home game against Dallas.
Against America's team.
And so I've got to believe that's going to get brought up a little bit that, hey, we pooped the bed on national TV. Let's not make that a habit. You like that?
I like it. So this is in MetLife. I was checking to make sure it's in MetLife.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you here. I would take Giants money line actually too, because I don't think they'll get embarrassed again on national TV.
Okay.
Great pick.
Wow.
That doesn't happen often.
So since when was your opinion asked for in this segment? Because you seem to be putting more of your spin into these.
Well,
I've noticed.
I think people want my opinion.
Go back and show my record.
Who wants to see that?
Oh, I do. I absolutely do. That's a damn good record.
Exactly.
That's really good. Okay, we're out of here. Tomorrow, you've seen the commercial about the Stars dinner tomorrow night. And we will broadcast live from Brentwood Baptist where the actual event will take place. Jimmy Dykes will join us at some point. Betty Wiseman, legendary Belmont athletic figure. And, of course, Tony Basilio, will join us from Knoxville. So we've got a full plate tomorrow. Hope you will join us. Until then, Billy, try to behave.
You too.
Kelly, we're happy for the good news that the surgery went well. We've been keeping our fingers crossed. See you tomorrow.